Before I get started, I need to just thank some people. First off, I got to thank my grandmother, who's not here with us, but had it not been for her, y'all wouldn't have heard of me. Then I got to thank my beautiful, wonderful, protective, fierce mother, who's here today. So I need to, then I have to thank my wonderful, protective, fierce wife who's here today. And of course, I gotta thank my babies, Brittany and Tezera, who's bored to death right now. I can see him. I'm trying not to look over in that direction, but I wanna thank them. I wanna thank my new son, Takari, and then I'm getting ready to be a granddaddy. I'm gonna be a granddaddy in June, so I'm welcoming in, and we are welcoming in a new ancestor. So I wanna start off with that, and I want to thank this university. Listen, when I was notified that I was going to get this, I didn't quite know how to think about it because a lot of my work is resisting capture, okay? And how to resist capture. We are living in an empire that does nothing but know how to eat. That's all it does. It devours things. It devours people. It breaks people. It eats people. And when people and institutions acknowledge me, my first thing is to be pessimistic. Right? I think pessimism sometimes gets a bad rap. I think pessimism sometimes is the brakes we need in order to examine things and slow things down. I think sometimes people want us to be optimistic because they want to pick our pockets and pick our brains and pick our genius. And sometimes our pessimism is the thing that saves us until we're ready to do something else. And so when I got offered this, the first thing for me was to pull back and kind of figure out, wait a minute, who is these folks? And I use that phrase the right way. That's the way my people use it. Who is these folks? Who be these people? Right? And so I started looking and doing some research and working with and hearing that they were using my work. And sometimes people use my work in ways that it wasn't intended to use. It wasn't intended to be something that you develop your own practice with. It was developed, my work was developed, and not just developed, it was emerged from me, from being held by my ancestors and elders. It came about because it was designed to help humanity and help our people be something else. And we don't know what that something else is. And people think that my stuff is just about curriculum or just about teaching. It really is about how do you condition and temper yourself so you can usher in a living, embodied, anti-racist, generative culture. It's not so you can hang a shingle. It is to tap into that thing that already is. We are living beings living with other living beings on a living being. And something has happened to people and continues to happen to people and continues to happen to this earth and this planet. We are literally cracking the planet in half right now. Literally. We are extracting from her. We are doing things and pouring things into her bloodstream, and she is now trying to burn us off of her. That's what's happening. Global warming is another word for burning us off. We are no longer welcomed here. And it is students like you who are going to resist the capture. That is your job. The system, the empire is going to tell you your job is to get a job. Your job is to resist. Your job is to connect with other resistance. Your job is to go to the edges and see what emerges in the edges. What you already know is not going to help you here. I watched, as y'all walked in, I watched the joy in some of these beautiful people up here, in some of these black bodies up here, in some of these indigenous bodies up here, in some of these trans bodies up here, in some of these male bodies. I watched the way they looked at y'all. I've done speeches before at universities. Not everybody loves y'all. Not everybody loves y'all. What I saw up here were people who said, I am going to be in relationship with you from now on. You can reach back to me when stuff starts. Listen, I got a text when I was in line out there, and my wife said, don't overshare. And my daughter and my son said, don't overshare and don't cuss. I come from a long line of professional cussers, y'all, so this is really hard for me. It's really hard for me. But what I saw was people that love you. Y'all are a bunch of weirdos. Y'all some weird people. Y'all had a band come up here talking about Mama Earth. That's weird stuff at a commencement. That's weird. That's what we need, y'all. We need weird people. We need the people that are resisting capture, that are fugitive in their thinking. This structure, this empire, I have on this kefi. Underneath it, I have on kente cloth, because many times people think that our striving for liberation is different because of the bodies that it's housed in. I come from a people that know what it's like to be corralled into a certain place. I know what it's like to come from a people where you don't have access to your own water, your own electricity. I know what it's like to come from a people to where if you stayed, you died, if you left, you died. And so when I see what's happening in the Congo, and I see what's happening in Gaza, and I see what's happening in Palestine, my heart connects to that. I ain't gonna debate you about that. I'm not gonna debate you about humanity. And I'm not going to debate my humanity with you. It is what it is. It is what it is. And if that means we're going to fight, then we're going to fight. If that means you ain't going to like me, you ain't going to like me. And then I'll build with people who do. And when I'm telling you, you beautiful graduates, that's what's going to happen as you get out here, if you are doing it the right way. And I don't mean the right way in terms of prescriptive. I mean in terms of make your damn mistakes. Make your mistakes. Have people hate you and get away from you, so that creates room for people that's supposed to be with you. There's a difference between ownership and stewardship. People are going to try and make you believe they're the same thing, and they are not. I'm gonna tell a couple more stories, because I can get, as my wife says, I get a little long-winded. So I'm gonna tell just two stories. One story is, if you don't know, you can right now get online and read excerpts of Columbus's diary. Christopher Columbus's diary. There's this excerpt that I read recently where he says, that the indigenous people that him and his men came across were some of the most beautiful, open, and generous people that he had ever met. And he said that if you needed something, they would offer it to you. If you needed something, they would give it to you or show you how to get it. And then his next line is the difference between stewardship and ownership. His next line was, and they are right for the picking. When we're talking about empire and what you are going to change and help to change, what you are going to leave your grandchildren's children's children, is a recognition that we are in a world that needs changing and has no use for anybody that doesn't get in line. Stewardship means that you don't get in line. Stewardship means that you are tied to something that gurgles, tied to something that beats. Notice the images behind me. Notice the heartbeats that you hear. Notice the babies. That is the message we want you to go away here with. Not that you've completed something, but there are things that you need to cultivate so new things can emerge. The second story is this. Dr. King right now is used as a litmus test for whether or not you are down or good or understand. Somebody says Dr. King and everybody nods and nobody understands. He was the most hated man in America. He was talking and saying things that he knew that most people didn't understand what he was doing and talking about. And he said it anyway. And he said it so you could hear it. He knew the people there couldn't understand it. But maybe generations from that point, people could take it in because other things will have been cultivated. When he died and they did an autopsy on him, the man died at 39 years old. When he died, when they did an autopsy and looked at his heart, you can read this, had the heart of a 60-year-old man. The system will weather you. By design, it will wither you. And if you try and do it by yourself, it will eat you. Connect with the people that love you. Develop relationship and community with each other. Continuously weigh your heart at every moment and decide whether or not it is in alignment with other bodies, the planet, and your ancestors. Every moment. Because the world will tell you you are going in the wrong way, and you're not. Thank you. Love you. Keep going. Keep doing what you do. Thank you, you damn weirdos, and let's keep trying to change the world.